The Wilderness Within You, Day 41, the Monday of Holy Week. Our reading is from the Good News translation of the Bible, the second chapter of Luke's Gospel, verses 27 to 28 and 33 to 35. When the parents brought the child Jesus into the temple to do for him what the law required, Simeon took the child in his arms and gave thanks to God. The child's father and mother were amazed at the things Simeon said about him. Simeon blessed them and said to Mary his mother, "This child is chosen by God for the destruction and the salvation of many in Israel. He will be a sign from God, which many people will speak against and so reveal their secret thoughts. And sorrow, like a sharp sword, will break your own heart." "What?" he asks. With anyone else, I know it's better to keep my mouth shut if I'm in a mood, for fear of saying something I may regret later. But I have the feeling with Jesus, it's not so much that he doesn't know the thoughts of my heart, as that I don't. Until I speak them out in his presence, actually tell him, I don't see them for what they are. You can tell Jesus anything. So I say, the consecration of violence, that's what's bothering me. And he waits. His silence invites me. Say more. Violence, I explain, is woven into the scriptures like a metallic thread that catches and clings so it can't ever be separated or drawn out. Wars and massacres, hell and damnation, this bloodthirsty, vengeful God demanding sacrifice and stonings, commanding the putting out of eyes and running through with swords. Why weren't you born into something gentle, some religion not knee-deep in blood? Look, right from the beginning, there you are, taken by your mother to be circumcised as commanded by God. Why would God do that? Make babies as they are, then command something as violent as circumcision. Do you know how violent circumcision is? You should read about it some day. I know about circumcision, he says quietly. Then, I'm in full flood now, this talk of sorrow piercing your mother's heart like a sharp sword, and of you being born for people's destruction, and 2,000 years of people saying what a wonderful thing it was you were crucified for their sins. What was that phrase they coined in the Middle Ages? O felix culpa, O happy sin, because it meant you would come and be crucified for us. It's not a happy sin. It's a vile, black, bloody awful sin that ends in so hideous and grisly a consequence. I hate it, the consecration of violence. How come it's in the scriptures, in the church, wound tight like a tangle of barbed wire round Christianity? Jesus is never quick to jump in. I'm never quite sure whether I'm waiting for him to speak or if he's waiting to see if I've finished, but It comes to the same thing for practical purposes, waiting. But it gets there in the end. This gentle religion, he says, what had you in mind? Oh, I don't know. Buddhism? Taoism? Hinduism? Well, he speaks softly. Maybe you'd better read around a bit more. Your heritage has no monopoly on violence. He pauses. The thing is, I wait. The thing is, what it means to be Emmanuel involves coming into life as it actually is, sharing its reality, being immersed in it. Life is violent. The antelope is brought down by the lion, the mouse snatched up in the talons of the owl, the bird taken by the night fox, and human beings hurt one another. Here and there is a brief glimpsing vision of something different. The lion and the lamb, a little child shall lead them. They shall not kill or destroy in all my holy mountain, but how to get to it? Well, I am still feeling belligerent. Go on then. How? He swallows. Am I making this difficult? I wonder. In each of us, each life is the chance to realise gentleness, to build the peaceable kingdom. I never circumcised anyone. I never stoned anyone. I never crucified anyone. To the circumciser I offered myself as the baby. To angry men clutching stones I offered the challenge of searching their hearts. To the authorities, with their lash and their cross, I gave my body. And where was God in all this? What was God's attitude? God's stance? Dearest, don't you know who I am? Mentally I circle this, prodding it suspiciously. Is it really that simple? There is, I know, no loyalty, courage, or compassion without adversity. Without vulnerability, there can be no meaning to kindness. The world that had never known cruelty could not understand mercy. Whichever way you look at it, life that is all comfortable can teach us nothing worth knowing. That's how it is. Maybe that's why God is called I Am, and why God is mystery. Whatever God may be, holiness is not something fanciful, but is the core of reality. God is not imaginary, the projection of our dreams. God is not even for real. It's the other way round. Reality comes from God. If the reality of holiness is kindness, courage, hope, where can we learn that but in the midst of this mess? Where can a star shine except the night sky? I imagine these hands that broke bread, touched lepers, rested on the heads of little children, hammered by great 4-inch forged nails into the wood of the cross. He is no namby-pamby pushover, Jesus. He spoke and lived fearlessly, but his way is always the same. He goes where brutality is and offers himself as gentleness. Gentleness incarnate, I mean. Right now, sitting here with me, he turns his head. There's a question, an almost smile in his eyes. You can't have resurrection without death, he says. But remember, it's done for all time. I did it for you.